So I've been friends with Lizette since we were 5 years old. We grew up in the same neighborhood, went to the same schools, played sports together, everything. We grew up together. In our junior year in high school, we had just made the volleyball team, and she started to miss a lot of practice, and finally I just asked her, why are you missing so much practice? She really wanted to be on this team with me, and she sat down and she told me that she'd been diagnosed with thyroid cancer. I was really shocked because, these things don't happen to people that you know. They happen to everybody else, but they just don't happen to you, and they don't happen to your friends. So I was there for her, and halfway through her junior year, she started her chemotherapy treatment. In our senior year, after she had turned 18, she obtained a medical marijuana card legally in the state of California to help alleviate the pain and discomfort that she was getting from her chemotherapy. Now, why am I telling you this? I'm telling you this because you need to know that currently the federal government is infringing on the state's rights to legalize marijuana. They're coming in and they're closing down marijuana facilities where patients are obtaining their medicine to help alleviate their pain and discomfort that they are getting from debilitating diseases. And I know that many people do think that there are a few bad apples that are abusing this and just get it because they have insomnia or whatever, but you need to be able to read between the lines and see that it does have a benefit. So in this speech, I'm going to argue to you that you should support H.R. 2306. And there are 3 reasons to support H.R. 2306. First, I'm going to argue that the federal government is denying patients access to marijuana, and they're also denying patients treatment for their diseases because they are patients of marijuana. Second, I'm going to argue that by rescheduling marijuana from a Schedule I drug to a Schedule III drug on the Controlled Substance Act, then patients will not be denied access to marijuana, and they will not be denied the treatment that they need for the diseases that they have. And lastly, I'm going to argue that marijuana is not an addictive gateway drug. So let's begin. With the current federal laws, the federal government is denying patients access to medical marijuana. In an article written by Ethan Nadelman, he is the executive director and founder of the Drug Alliance Policy in New York, a small-based organization trying to end the war on drugs. On May 14th of this year, the federal government labeled marijuana as an illegal controlled substance. And in a unanimous 8-0 ruling, the Supreme Court ruled that patients who are using medical marijuana would be doing so illegally, even though it's legal in the state they are doing it. This would leave them open to prosecution if the federal government were to come in and see that they were doing this. Not only is this leaving them open to prosecution, but now the federal government is coming in and closing down facilities where patients are obtaining their marijuana. I've seen firsthand 3 clinics within a 15-mile radius of where my friend Lizette lived closed down. This is putting her at a disadvantage because now she has to go further to obtain something that is benefiting her and helping her with the side effects of chemotherapy. Now, not only is this happening, but patients are now being denied care because they are patients of marijuana. In an article written by Patrick Marshall, he's a journalist for the National Review, a medical marijuana patient, Norman B. Smith, who had earlier been diagnosed with an inoperable liver cancer in 2009, was the first person on a liver transplant list. When St. Jude Hospital found out that he was a medical marijuana patient, they removed him from the list and gave him 90 days to live. I researched up on it to see what had happened to him, and unfortunately, the liver cancer did kill him and he passed away. If marijuana were legal at the federal level, this wouldn't have happened. He would have remained on the liver transplant list, and he would have gotten his new liver, and he would not have died, unfortunately. Something has to be done because this isn't okay that patients are now denied access to it and that they are denied treatment because they are patients of medical marijuana. Which brings me to my next point. If we were to reschedule marijuana from a Schedule I drug to a Schedule III drug on the Controlled Substance Act, the marijuana patients would not be denied access and they would not be denied treatment. According to the U.S. Justice Department, advocates say that patients would benefit from the therapeutic value of medical marijuana by rescheduling it. And according to the Controlled Substance Act, a Schedule I drug are the harshest of drugs, like cocaine or heroin, for example, and they are highly addictive. A Schedule III drug on the Controlled Substance Act, however, are the non-addictive drugs that serve a medicinal purpose, like many of our over-the-counter medicines such as cough syrup, Advil, or Tylenol. And that is why we should remove marijuana from a Schedule I drug to a Schedule III drug because it does serve a medicinal purpose. Also, according to the Justice Department, an added benefit of rescheduling marijuana would be that we would be saving millions of dollars annually through the taxation and regulation, and we would be saving billions of dollars by helping put an end to the war on drugs. Because we are currently spending billions of dollars on the war on drugs. But just most importantly, though, that patients would be able to benefit from marijuana's therapeutic value for the debilitating diseases that they currently have. Which just brings me to my last point. Many people do think that marijuana is a really bad gateway drug. However, I'm here to debunk this theory. According to Robert M. DuPont, MD, who's worked as a drug counselor for 15 years, he said that marijuana is a highly potent, highly addictive drug and leads many people down the road to other more harmful and addictive drugs. However, this isn't true. According to Jonathan Baer, a psychiatrist, who conducted 3 studies in 2005 that showed that marijuana itself is not an addictive drug. He stated that the person who is using marijuana has an addictive personality, so marijuana is not addictive, it is the person, and it is psychologically addictive. He used a great example of people who happen to be obese. They are not physically addicted to food, however, they are mentally addicted to the fact that they don't want to stop eating. That goes the same with people who smoke marijuana. They are mentally addicted to the fact that they want to keep smoking, so they are not going to stop. If you do not have an addictive personality, you can stop smoking marijuana. However, these people who unfortunately have an addictive personality will begin smoking marijuana and will unfortunately go down the road of harsher and more harmful drugs. And in this speech, I argue to you that currently the federal government is infringing on states' rights and denying patients access and care to medical marijuana. I argued that by rescheduling marijuana from a Schedule I drug to a Schedule III drug on the Controlled Substance Act, then patients would not be denied access to marijuana and they would not be denied treatment for the diseases that they have because they are patients of marijuana. And lastly, I argued to you that medical marijuana is not an addictive gateway drug. Marijuana in general is not an addictive drug. And I hope that the federal government, I hope that you all will realize that HR 2306 can benefit people and be good for the community. And I hope that you don't let the few people who are misusing marijuana stop you from reading between the lines and seeing that medical marijuana does serve a purpose for people who have debilitating diseases, and it can be a good thing. And I hope that in the future it will be legalized at the federal level, so my good friend Lizette won't have to see all these facilities closed down and infringe on her rights to receive medicine that's actually helping her. Thank you.